Hi there everybody, this is David, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 most wanted RPGs, but we're only looking at the games that actually have some sort of release date. Dragon Quest XII and Kingdom Hearts 4, they don't have a release date, so yeah, we're looking at games that actually have something announced as far as coming out relatively soon. So yeah, 10 great games that I have for you here, and that's definitely worth a sub as you come and you join our party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your brand new hype. It helps me out a ton. So we're actually going to be going in order of like my least wanted to most wanted, although I want them all. So there really isn't like a least wanted, if you know what I mean. But first up, we got Persona 4 Revival coming out on February the 18th of next year for the Xbox and the PS5 as well as the PC. We do not have an announcement for the Switch 2 as of yet, interestingly enough. I've got to say this, of the Persona 4 games, Persona 4 is easily my favorite. You end up moving to like this small town, only to meet new friends, and then you find out that people are like mysteriously vanishing, and it's like becomes some sort of like murder mystery plot, and this mysterious midnight channel comes on, and you get like sucked into the television set and everything. It's pretty freaking cool as you go on through and try to find out what is going on, who this murderer is. It has turn-based combat, but it's been updated with the baton pass system from Persona 5, as well as all-out attacks, and it also includes all previously released content, including all the golden content. So you're not going to be getting separate DLCs for everything else like they did in Persona 3 Reload. And not only that, it comes with a pretty cool collector's edition too, so hey, why not? Next up at number 9, we have Atelier Caria, Night Kingdom and the Guide of Memories, coming out early 2027 for the PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC. So I've just got to say this, I've had a long and rocky history with the Atelier series. I love the spin-offs over on the PlayStation 2, you know, Mana Khemia and Atelier Iris and things like that, loved those. Then we came to the PlayStation 3 and we got the mainline games, and I don't really like them. There was a lot of time limits and things like that. But I tried it again with Ryza and I fell in love. I love the characters, I love the huge areas to explore, and of course, I love Lent. Then Yumiya came out, which featured more of like an action-based combat system, as well as like a more of a Xenoblade type exploration. They really pumped up the exploration in Yumiya. And, you know, it also had Victor, which also, you know, didn't hurt either. There's so many good hot guys in Atelier games, I've just gotta say. But anyway, Atelier Caria takes place in the same world as Yumiya, but it says that it takes place deep below Adelice. So maybe it's like the underworld or something? I don't really know, but it looks freaking cool, and I'm loving all these Atelier games, and I am just here for it. Number 8, Trails in the Sky Second Chapter, coming out September the 17th. We actually have a lot of games coming out September the 17th. Like 3 of them on this list are coming out September the 17th. Coming out for the Switch 1 and 2, PlayStation 5, as well as the PC. So, as for many of you are aware, my first experience with the Trails series was actually the Gagharv trilogy over on the PSP. Then I moved into the Sky games on the PSP as well, because everybody was talking about how great they were. I didn't really like the Gagharv trilogy, but they were like, you know what, they really didn't have anything to do with Sky, so I want to try out Sky. I went down to GameStop, I waited in line to get Trails in the Sky back on the PSP, and I have been a Trails fan ever since. I did that back in like 2010, I believe. It was like the year that I actually moved to Las Vegas. I did that, and Trails in the Sky kept me company while I was in a new town. Second chapter picks up immediately following the events of the first chapter as Estelle rushes off to find Joshua. And it's just so good. These remakes are absolutely beautiful. It adds so much characterization to the world, to Liberl, and it's just looking fan-freaking-tastic. I cannot wait to see how all the love and the care that they put into these remakes, they are just so good, so good. Number 7, Tales of Eternia, coming out October the 16th for the Switch 1 and 2, PS4 and 5, Xbox, and PC. Tales of Eternia was originally known as Tales of Destiny 2 over in the United States when it first came out, and it's actually one of my favorite games in the entire Tales series. This is a remaster, not a remake, even though it was originally a PlayStation 1 game. So it tells the story of 2 worlds. It's almost like a Hollow Earth sort of thing, where you have a lower world Inferior and an upper world Celestia. And if you're down in Inferior, you can look up and you can see Celestia. And if you're on Celestia, you can look down and you can see Inferior. So you can see the two different worlds, the two different civilizations, but they don't actually interact with one another. Until one day, a mysterious girl, Merity, crash lands down into Inferior, and you have to go through a journey throughout all of Eternia, which is both of the worlds, because there's like this cataclysm where the two worlds are gonna like smash into each other and all that. A bunch of quality of life features have been added, including destination markers, being able to disable enemy encounters, putting on a high speed mode in battle, more difficulty modes, all sorts of different stuff. So not only happy that one of my favorite games in the Tales series is getting remastered, but I'm super happy that this shows that they're not just doing the easy ones. I was afraid of that after they did Berseria. I was like, oh, they're just gonna do all the easy ones. They're gonna do Xillia 2, they're gonna do Zestiria. We're never gonna get like, the harder ones, but here we are. We're getting a harder one, we're getting an earlier one. So this tells me that we're gonna be getting every single freaking one of these games, and I am just loving that. Number 6, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, also coming out September the 17th for the Nintendo Switch 2. More like Fire Emblem 4 Houses. Am I right? Yeah, this here is pretty much a successor to Fire Emblem 3 Houses, but instead of following 3 heroes, here you follow 4 heroes. And it takes place in an entirely different country that revolves around like this Colosseum Battle Royale thing, where the winner of that Colosseum will have their wishes granted. It still does seem to keep that like persona, metaphor, time management aspect, that social sim aspect as well, where you're given like a set number of turns or times or days between the matches of the Colosseum, and you can use that time as you see fit to leave the town, go out and explore, go into dungeons, you can bond, you could do whatever it is that you want. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but hey, I will take Fire Emblem in whatever form I can. I love Fire Emblem. Number 5, another Eden Begins, coming out September the 17th for the Switch, the PS5, as well as the PC. This is another game coming out on September the 17th. It is a crowded date, and this is part of that trend of mobile games becoming console games. We saw it first with Octopath Traveler 0. We've also seen it with Atelier Res Lariana, and both of those were absolutely fantastic. So I see no reason as to why this can't be just as good. We also have that Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, Final Fantasy Resonance coming on as well. So yeah, this new trend of taking mobile gacha games and turning them into console experiences is one of the best trends in gaming that I have seen lately. I'm really loving it. I'm loving how these games aren't becoming lost media. I'm loving how they're repurposing them and how the world is healing. Yeah, we're getting good games on consoles, and they're like basic games, you know what I mean? Like, I like that. Like, I don't need everything to be huge AAA monstrosity. Sometimes I like a smaller game, you know? This one is actually based on Chrono Trigger. It's kind of a spin-off of Chrono Trigger. And it features turn-based battles, time travel, and over 18 different characters, as well as a new game plus with over 10 different endings. It looks fantastic. Number 4, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, coming out spring 2027 for the PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC. This is the part 3 of Final Fantasy VII Remake that we've all been waiting for. Coming out in the 30-year anniversary. Final Fantasy VII originally came out in 1997. Now this is coming out in 2027, so 30 years later. We're getting all of it here. This looks amazing. This is basically everything else. It's wrapping it all up, and we got to see so much stuff. We got to see the weapons. We got to see the high wind. We got to see them flying around the world, and whenever they want to like land, they parachute out of the high wind. Like, it's so freaking cool. Everything's beautiful. We got to see Wutai. We got to see Midgar. We got to see Midel. We got to see Vincent fighting and Cid fighting, Leviathan summons, all that sort of stuff. The meteor looming over the sky above. Like, it just looks so good. And not only that, They have job classes that they put in, y'all. There's nothing better than some job classes. So this thing looks spectacular, and also just like a little selfishness part of me. I'm personally happy that they're finally done with the 7 remake trilogy. So now they can take that AAA studio, that AAA team, and they can put them towards other things. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been caught up in this Final Fantasy VII remake trilogy for such a long time. It's nice that they'll be able to, you know, put them on a different project right there. So I cannot wait to see what they have coming up for us next after all this. Next up at number 3, Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World, coming out December the 3rd for the Switch 1 and 2, PS5, Xbox, and PC. I am a huge fan of the Dragon Quest Monsters series, which is weird because I'm not the biggest fan of Pokemon, but hey, whatever, you know? I'm a man of mystery, as they say. So I played the first one over on the Game Boy back in the day when I was in high school, and I've loved it for a long time there. But I'm especially really in love with this trend of Square taking like younger characters from the mainline series and giving them their own game. Now, we saw that first in the very first Dragon Warrior Monsters, which had Terry and Millie from Dragon Warrior 6, and then we saw it again with the Dark Prince, because they stepped away from it for a little bit with Terra and Kobe's journey. They stepped away with it from the Joker series, so now they're coming back to it with Dark Prince, where we saw Sorrow, and now we're seeing Flara and Bianca from Dragon Warrior 5 coming on in as younger girls. So it looks like it's running on the same engine as the Dark Prince. It looks pretty similar to it, but it features that same monster synthesis collecting worlds based upon Dragon Warrior 5. It looks so good, and I hope that it springboards us into an announcement of the Zenith Trilogy remakes as well, because we haven't heard anything about that. Number 2, we have Xenoblade Genesis, coming out sometime next year for the Nintendo Switch 2. Speaking of Hollow Earth theory from Tales of Eternia, this is like the real deal. Whereas you couldn't see Celestia from down in Furia, you can see everything in Xenoblade Genesis. It's so cool. They're like running on through the fields, and you could see the world like wrap around. You can see the continents and the islands and the ocean and everything. It says that the world's powered by 6 suns called Anima, and it looks to be an origin story for Xenoblade Genesis, you know? But it could also be maybe the start of a brand new trilogy, so we don't really know what's going on here, but it looks fantastic. Exploration's always been one of my favorite parts in RPGs. I love exploration, and Xenoblade always delivers on that front. I am worried a little bit about it, mostly in the aesthetic. The whole school thing, the whole European medieval vibes thing, whereas Xenoblade was always more sci-fi, more futuristic, but it had its own fantasy thing going on. This thing looks to be taking a lot of inspiration from medieval Europe, Renaissance, stuff like that. So I'm worried as far as that's concerned. I'm worried about the school thing. I hope that they don't institute some sort of persona sort of thing into Xenoblade. I hope that it's really just kind of like go out, explore, kick ass, take names like any good Xenoblade is that I know and I love. And finally, number 1, my most anticipated game coming out is Final Fantasy Resonance on October the 22nd for the PS5, Xbox, PC, Switch 1, and 2. So I am a huge Final Fantasy fan. I always have been since I played the very first Final Fantasy on the NES back in 3rd grade. And what I like most about Final Fantasy is the exploration, the world maps, the turn-based combat system, the job classes. I love all that stuff. But unfortunately, lately, as we're all aware, Final Fantasy's been kind of going away from the stuff that I know and love. They've been veering a lot more towards action, this pseudo-mature storytelling, which isn't actually all that mature at all. They've been kind of simplifying things, getting rid of party members, getting rid of equipment, getting rid of job classes, and I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I want a complicated RPG. I want something that I can really sink my teeth into, and it looks like this game promises that. This is a console remake using the bones of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, using the bones and the skeleton of that and turning it into its own game. It is not a port, it is not a remake. It's using that story and those characters and turning it into its own brand new thing. So that's very, very, very exciting to me. You have your 4 party members. They have these visions, and they can summon in these visions, which are essentially party members from previous games. Think Cloud, Terrazard, and Celeste, all that. And it just looks fantastic. There's a world map, there's airships, there's exploration, there's chocobos, there's job classes, there's turn-based battles. Like, can there be anything better? And that's why it's my #1 most anticipated game. So yeah. That's it for my top 10 most wanted games. But now I want to hear from you. What are your most wanted games, and do you agree or disagree? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, have a good day.